Hey everybody, Domestic Blend here again. Go ahead and tell you that my handle on Obsidian's website and their forums is Ganrich. And today, or at this end of this video, we're going to cover the Barbarian up to level 5. So once again, this will be another short one like the Ranger, and hopefully you enjoy it. So we're going to start off. We're also going to cover stealth circles, like how the stealth system kind of works. I'm not exactly 100% sure with how it works exactly, because I'm not typically a stealth player, so I haven't looked into it. But since you don't have to be a specific class to do stealth in this game, which is something I do like, although certain classes it kind of doesn't make sense for. Some other classes sometimes just don't get access to it in some games, and it's weird. But we are going to be an Amawa, because they're huge. And just to go ahead and show you the island subspecies or subrace is long stride is their bonus, and they get a plus 5% faster movement speed while they're in combat. The coastal get a resistances to prone and stun effects, which is knockdown effects and stun effects, which is what we're going to do. We're a Barbarian. We don't want to get knocked down. And we're going to go pretty might heavy on this build. Might and Dex. Oh, I forgot to show the Barbarian's health pool here. Stamina and health they get at 48 and 16 per level, which is the highest in the game. The next highest would be the monk. No. The fighter and the paladin. I think maybe the monk gets a high, like gets one a little lower than this. I can't remember. The deflection rate is 5, which is pretty low. It's pretty abysmal. But I mean, that is the nature of a barbarian. They have a lot of mitigation, so they don't need to be able to deflect everything as well. Their melee accuracy is pretty high at 20, and their ranged accuracy is 15. So I mean, it's not a huge difference between 20 and 15. So they aren't too terribly bad at ranged either. So they're pretty versatile in that regard. Some classes just swing one way or the other. And then some of their abilities you'll see, which we'll go into heavily once we've leveled up and everything, is Carnage, Frenzy, and Wild Sprint. I do believe Carnage is a passive, and then Frenzy and Wild Sprint are... yeah, Carnage is a passive. It's the one that causes their stuff to be AoE, or have cleave damage. And Frenzy is their rage mechanic, and that's 3 times per rest, and then Wild Sprint's their speed boost to let them move around the battlefield, and that's the same thing. And they get a bonus to athletics and survival. We're going to ignore those today for the to show off a little bit of how the stealth circles work, or at least to someone that understands them better than I, which is easily anybody. And we'll pop a few points in this just because it makes our AoEs a little better. Even though it's nonsensical, we don't need intelligent barbarians solving complex math problems. We'll show off dual wielding, since a lot of people tend to like dual wielding. And that's irrelevant. Now I have 2 different heads here, and a lot of different hairstyles. 9 is, the most I've ever seen in terms of these customizations is 9. So, like, it's not a lot. They get some skin options here. We're going to go with this. And their hair color, which we don't have any hair right now, so... And we'll leave the colors on the clothing alone. And we'll go with this dude. Looks pretty close, not exactly. Not a 1-to-1, but close enough. And... we are about ready to show off stealth. Okay, so make sure I get my guy selected here, not to confuse them. And let us show off how stealth works. So you click this little icon, and see how huge this circle is and how huge their circles are. Well, as we level up really quick, we are going, and this is an awesome bug, Obsidian, just in case you weren't aware of it. And we'll go over that stuff. Well, we'll go over it now because I have to touch up on something else during leveling. Savage Defiance is a stamina gain, so that because the Barbarian has such low deflection, they tend to get hit a lot, so they tend to lose stamina fast. And this is a once per encounter thing to kind of take a little bit of no, so you don't preoccupy your healer's time all the time, like because you do get hit a lot. And see, once I accepted, that circle shrank because I've got points into stealth, and it'll go down again once we've leveled up here. Blooded, if your stamina drops below 50%, you do more damage. That's basically what it does, and it's very normal. Like it's a sensible thing to have for a barbarian. Once again, they get all their weapon skill sets and their talent here that you can select from if you would like. Hold the line, which is standard, increases your engagement limit, so you can engage more enemies. Bonus Frenzy, since it's a per rest ability, it's not a bad thing to have an extra Frenzy in there, give you a little more staying power in terms, so you don't have to rest as much. Accurate Carnage. Carnage, like, it lowers, like, you don't have a huge accuracy with the AoE side of Carnage. It's not nearly as high as your main target. So what this does is it increases the accuracy, so you're less likely to get a graze and more likely to get full damage, if that makes sense. Powerful Sprint, it increases the speed at which of Wild Sprint. And then Stalwart Defense, the ability I was just showing you a second ago, Savage Defense, that gives you stamina back. This one, when you pop that, it gives your allies a boost to all I don't know what defenses, it doesn't say. Provide a bonus to all allies' defenses. I don't know if it's all of the defenses, or I would assume so, but you know. But we're not gonna have time to use all the Carnage or all the frenzies that you have, and Powerful Sprint 3 will be enough for us. We'll try Accurate Carnage, and we'll move on. You see it shrunk again, the circle, and we'll level again, and it'll shrink again to the point that it's really tiny. Thick Skin's another interesting ability. This one, most classes take, like it says at the bottom, a 1-to-4 ratio of damage. Like 1 being health, 4 being stamina. The Barbarian, after this level, this class unlock, goes to a 1-to-8 ratio. So you take much less damage to your health than you do your stamina, than any other class in the game. That ratio is the best for the Barbarian. And what that means is you get hit a lot, and as long as you've got someone there to heal you and you make use of your Savage Defiance, you have to be healed, but this class is less dependent on rests as some of the other classes. And that's cool. That they're good as a frontline fighter for that reason. They can keep going. They're the Energizer Bunny, and that's what makes them awesome. That circle shrank again, and it will do it one more time. And Brute Force is what we're picking up this level. This one's an odd duck. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but you hit so hard that you don't even worry about deflection. You actually hit a creature's fortitude, which means certain classes that have high fortitude are going to be a lot harder for the Barbarian to take on than other classes, or other enemies rather. Um, they are basically, I think they've been built to rush the back line. So, whereas the fighter's there to sit in the middle of the front line and keep a bunch of people occupied, the Barbarian's more about moving around to the casters and the archers and the things like that. But they hit really, really hard, to the point that they have a debuff on their attacks that reduces the target's accuracy when they are hit, which is a really, really awesome thing to be able to keep a debuff on someone through passive attacks like that. When you're in stealth mode, you cannot run. Now, like I said, I'm not a stealth player. I do not play stealth classes very often. But
very well. Very well.
If I were to guess, their circles seem to have shrunk as well.
Going.
I think you just have to stay, like, once this happens, once you have this crossover, I think you get spotted, or they become aware of you. You might not be able to, they might not just start rushing you until you get into the purple, but they might start, if they have a patrol AI in the game, they might start moving towards you at that point. So you want to stay out. Like, that's the purpose behind it. But once we've, now that we've shown that, we will pop that off and we can start running again. So what we'll do is I'm going to move the Barbarian right here. The fighter right here. I'm going to pop his defense boost here. We're going to switch the rogue over to archery again. We're going to move him over here too. I haven't done that yet. And we're going to keep the casters back here. I'm going to put the priest about right there. And we're going to set things up. Try and hit as many people as we can with this. And now that everyone's spreading out,
yes.
And let's move the Barbarian in. Actually, let's go ahead and rage. Oh, that guy with the gun is firing at my mage, so we need to stop that. This will help the party out a little bit. We're gonna pull this guy off to deal with just a high fire gun too. And there's another bug, the knockdown. It can pause during that knockdown. It continuously plays the audio loop. I'm still frenzied. Notice how hard it is to get my health down now. He's obviously got 3 people around him, but I am not taking a whole lot of health damage. And let's check out some of the damage amounts here. As the Barbarian hit. Look, I just hit for 17. The main attack. If I were up here on the group, I would have an AoE component to this, but since I'm not going to get it. This guy doesn't have a lot of DR. That negative 5.5 here, this is the kind of target you want to focus with the Barbarian. You don't want to hit, like, there's a priest in here in this little cluster somewhere. I think it's this guy right here. You don't want to go after him with the Barbarian. He will soak up the majority of the damage the Barbarian does with his ammo, or with his armor, I'm sorry. And we're going to try something. Nah, we'll just keep firing these just to keep these guys. We're going to do a little heal here. For the fighter's sake. And we're going to cast this. And now that since we don't have to worry about Frenzy not getting reset, and we are going to move in and take down this guy with the gun. Oh, he's down. We're going to target this one here, because she has lighter armor. This guy, this priest, he just, man. I've done this fight a few times with Barbarian. He just does not take damage. This Medrith just did a nice hit to the fighter. And we're doing solid damage too, 15 damage. Is pretty good. And then we hit her again for 10 damage. So, or him, I'm not sure. I think it's a him.
Yes.
There's that heal. I can't. That guy. Always causing trouble, that healer. At least the AI is smart enough to heal. And once again, this lovely bow with finishing blow. It's a fun one. This woman to die. I can't believe I missed. Not that I can tell. Look at that. It's so big. Like it's going so fast. I'd have to pause like right at the perfect moment. Which I'm gonna try and do and fail. But it looks like I did 16 and 6. 6 is either the offhand or the graze. And she is down, and now you'll see me do no damage. And this, see how it's starting to slow down? This is a bug with this fight. Once you get kind of far into it, it seems to crash. It's one of those things they are aware of. See how I did 4 damage? But yeah, I'm not going to actually finish this because this game is going to crash, and I don't want to show that in this video. But that's basically all the Barbarian's abilities. They don't have a lot, but like I said, they're built for staying power, and like picking up like bonus frenzy is something that will assist with that. And I didn't show this. I am going to unpause it. It looks awful, but that's what Savage Defiance looks like. And I don't think it put that buff. I think it put it on the mage and it put it on the fighter, and that's what these are. But these are like, this is another bug, but it is, I mean, it's just, there's some kind of buff bug going on. There's a couple different ones, but it, I mean, it's something you get used to. But that's pretty much the Barbarian in a nutshell. He can go from fight to fight to fight to fight to fight, and I mean, he could go forever. Whereas the fighter, I think it's the catch-22 with the fighter is he's hard to get his stamina down, but his health drops like a stone. And you know, there's something to be said about having the right gear and stuff like that. But the Barbarian's a little easier just to have like solid gear and do well. But all in all, it's a pretty solid class. And I mean, I could even see people going the whole ranged Barbarian. That would be interesting. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more questions, hit me up on YouTube or hit me up on Obsidian's forums. My handle's Ganrich. And you guys have a good one. And I'll have another video up as soon as I can.